Bad bitch, girl, your ass. I'm in love with a stripper T. Got 10s, that's some ones. Let the ground do the math. More money in the club. Let the rain wear the ass. Looking for a bad bitch. Guess what?
Hey guys, this is Hamza again and welcome back to my channel. You would think that I'm going for everyday makeup because I'm wearing a pink bathrobe and my hair is wet, but it's quite actually the opposite. I'm going for more glam than usual. I'm actually going to be sharing a JLo's makeup artist technique that he uses on his muses who are going to occasions where they're going to be photographed. So ideally, this kind of makeup is ideal for photography. But I feel like this is something that we could actually really use or utilize if we are going to weddings or company year-end parties where we are actually going to be photographed with professional cameras. But I don't know, like I feel like this makeup actually looks good in person, and maybe I'm just used to seeing myself with full coverage makeup. I don't know, I'll let you be the judge. So the idea is actually doing the contour and highlighting and cream blush underneath the foundation, and it's gonna look kind of messy and tricky at first, but once the look is done, it's all gonna make sense and it's gonna look flawless. So I'm not gonna have like a longer intro. Let's start with the tutorial. I already primed my base and also moisturized, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the highlighting first. So when we are highlighting, we will be using a concealer that's lighter than my usual highlight shade. In this case, I'm using the Huda Beauty concealer, and this is in the shade Coconut Flakes 10 and for Nancy. Instead of using a brush, I do have this Tarte Shape Tape concealer that is almost done. I have nothing like left in there, really few. I'm gonna use the applicator to actually apply the concealer. And just in case you wonder, as usual, I use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Primer. And when doing this technique, make sure you're looking at a mirror literally like a little far from you so you could actually see your whole face, because this is a very contoured, chiseled look, and you want to make sure you are putting your contour product and highlight product at the right place. It might take a lot of mistakes, but the good thing is that with cream you can always play with it and correct if you make any mistakes. It's easier actually than powder. So I'm gonna be a little generous, and like I warned you guys, this is gonna look a little crazy at first, but I promise you it's gonna make sense after. I also want to highlight that where I put my contour, or the placement of my highlight and contour, actually could not be similar to your face shape. So make sure you really study your face. There are a lot of YouTube tutorials that actually can really teach you where you can put your contour depending on what kind of face shape you have. But if it's something that you guys want me to make, I can actually do that as well. I mean, I'm not really expert at it, but I learned some techniques, definitely. So next is we will blend this concealer. And I will use the other side that actually did not have any product on, just blend the edges. Okay, so after blending the concealer, we're actually gonna apply the contour now. And for my contour, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Palette. And at the same time, it has a pink shade here that I can use for my cream blush. I'll be using the shade Cinnamon and Chocolate. I'll actually combine them. And for my applicator, I'll be using a small brush like this. This is the Morphe X Jeffree Star JS3. So remember I told you before that when you're applying makeup, like you have to like dab it in or like tap it instead of like swiping. But that's because when you are wearing like full on makeup, like you already have the powder and the foundation, you don't want to move the product. But since I don't have any product on, just the primer, it's okay to like really just swipe in. And to apply the cream contour in my nose, I'll be using a flat brush. This is actually really meant for nose contouring. This is the Morphe E622, which is only available, I think, in James Charles brush collection with Morphe. Now I will blend the contour using the sponge. Just to sharpen the cheek contour, I'm just going to add concealer here. So just so you know, guys, I'm actually not really replicating the entire routine that Scott Barnes does or has, but it's basically just getting the idea or the concept, a genie's concept, and customizing it based on how I want it to look on me. So I don't think he does this or he did this, like highlighting underneath the cheek, but I feel like this is really gonna help the look. And I'm just gonna blend that because we don't want sharp edges. We hate sharp edges. Another thing that he also did was actually applying the contour on the jawline, and basically like redefining it. So I'm gonna do that because I want to look skinnier and unrealistic. There we go. Now we have a longer face. I'll also add a lip contour. Okay, so now we are done applying our highlight and contour. We are going to be applying next our cream blush, and I'll be using the pink shade on the contour palette. And applying this, I'll just be using this brush, and I'll be kind of like generous with the application because this again is going to be under the foundation. I know that I said this like in my last video, but where you put your blush is really going to change the shape of your face. So in my case, since I have like a bigger face and want it to look a little slimmer and lifted, I will put it on this part because it just like lifts my face. I feel like half of this video I'm gonna look like really ugly. Okay, so now we are done with the blush, the contour, and the highlight. The next thing I will do is I'll apply my foundation. Again, I'm using Fenty Beauty Pro Filter matte for my foundation, and I'll just be dabbing this. I'll be using this Morphe M439 and just lightly apply the foundation. Make sure we are on a tapping motion so that we are not ruining the contour and the blush that we did earlier. It's also extremely important that we actually choose the right shade. Otherwise, this whole look is gonna look like a mess. Okay, so after 10 years of applying our foundation, the next thing we will do is apply a concealer that's within our light shade range. So I'm using, again, the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear in the shade Cashew 311. Since we already have highlighter underneath, we're just gonna apply like really tiny bit of this. This is just to reinforce the highlighting effect. Also, make sure when you're applying the concealer, you are not interrupting the contour area. You don't want to go there because that's already perfectly blended and you don't want to mess that part. So we're just gonna go on the very specific area where you want the lightest, which is basically the under eye. The leftover, I'll just like tap this in on my forehead and my chin. After applying our foundation or concealer, all the contour and highlight and stuff, we're now going to be setting it, and we are going to be using the Laura Mercier translucent powder to set the base. And I'll be really gentle with this at first before I do any baking. Okay, so the next thing I will do is I'll do the baking, and for my baking, I'll be using a different setting powder. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter setting powder in the shade of Banana. So I'm just like baking the parts that's really oily. Okay, so next thing I will do is apply my bronzer. And for my bronzer, I'm using Marc Jacobs bronzer in the shade Tantalize 106. As you notice, I also like change how I hold the brush depending on what kind of pressure I need. For example, if I want like a softer blend, I'll basically hold my brush at the tip or at the end of the holder. But if I want something more precise and deposit more amount of product, I'll be holding it a little closer to the actual bristles. And that theory actually also applies when you're blending your eyeshadow. How you hold your brush really plays a part on how your makeup is going to turn out. And next thing I will do is I'll apply my nose contour. I'm using the same bronzer. And again, the same brush that I use, same contour in my nose. And after depositing the contour powder on my nose, I'll be blending it using a bigger brush. And the next thing I will do is I will redefine my nose contour using the same Fenty translucent powder, or actually not a translucent powder, setting powder rather, because this one has a little pigment. And now I'll remove the excess powder. And the next thing I'll do is I'll sharpen it again. I'm using the Kat Von D contour palette, shade and light contour palette, and I'm using the banana powder. I'm baking again my forehead because I can see it starts to get really oily. Okay guys, so as you notice, I add a lot of powder on my face, and the reason behind that is because I'm actually really oily recently. And to control the oil, I use a lot of mattifying products and apply a lot of powder. Okay guys, so I'll just do my brows and my eye makeup off the camera, and then I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm back, and I just finished my eyes, and I also already did my lip. So the reason why I did all of these behind the camera is because I've been getting feedback that my videos are too long, and I realized maybe I should just do like a dedicated tutorial per video to make it shorter. And I'm gonna reevaluate my contour now and see if there are any adjustments we need. Okay, it looks like we need to reinforce the bronzer on our cheek just a little bit. Since we have like products, we're just gonna like dab in really lightly. But you guys can already tell that this contouring is just really good compared to like a regular contour. This takes a lot of time, but the result is actually worth it. And the next thing I'll do is I'll apply a blush. And for my blush, I will be using the Morphe blush palette. And I'm going for the shade Unapologetic. And this is just gonna like reinforce the blush. I'll be really generous with this because I feel like blush makes you look young. There you go. Let's just lightly blend this part. After applying my blush, the next thing I'll do is I will be applying my highlighter, and I'm using again the Becca in Champagne Pop Loose Highlighter. I'm using a very small brush. I also forgot to mention the products that I use on my eyes and my lips. I used 2 products for my brows. I used the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Soft Brown. and Brow Wiz in dark brown, and also Anastasia Dip Brow or Dip Pomade in soft brown. So I used actually 3 products, but 2 types of products under Anastasia line, if that makes sense. And for my lips, for my lip liner, I use the Brown Sugar lip liner from Kylie Cosmetics. And then I added another lip liner to add dimension. I use the Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk. And for my lipstick, I also use the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Okay, so since Scott Barnes makeup is really on the glowing kind of makeup, I'll just add like a highlighter on my cheeks. I'll be really careful with this because I have big chubby cheeks, and if I really don't apply my highlighter carefully, it's gonna make me look really big. Okay guys, so I think the overall makeup is done, but this is not the entire look because I'm gonna add a shimmer on my chest to make sure it looks very cohesive. But first, let me just set my makeup. Actually, I forgot that. I'm using the Morphe X Jeffree Star setting spray. Okay guys, I'll be back once I am done putting on my outfit and also putting body makeup so that this look looks amazing and glowy. Hey guys, I am back and this is the final look. So I just added the Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lip on my lips for a glossy look, and this is in the Ginger Snap shade. I think it completes the look, makes everything really cohesive. I don't know, what do you think guys? There's definitely big difference in terms of like how my contour is blended, especially in person. I don't know if that could be seen on the camera, but overall I'm so happy with this. So let me know what you think. I am excited to do more videos that are related to techniques on how you can apply your makeup like a pro. If you have any questions, suggestions, or requests, feel free to leave your comments down below. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and also follow me on Instagram at thisishamza, and I'll definitely follow you back. Thank you so much guys, and I hope you all have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. Bye!